To Roth or not to Roth? That is almost always the question. Hi, I'm Scott Frank, founder of Stone Steps Financial and certified financial planner. Today we're going to talk about Roth IRAs, Roth 401ks, all things Roth. People commonly ask, what should I be doing? Should I be investing in a traditional IRA or a traditional 401k? Or should I be investing in a Roth? What's the right option? And the answer is, it depends, as most things do with personal finance, because it's personal. A couple of things to understand. First of all, what's the difference between a regular IRA or a regular 401k and a Roth IRA or a Roth 401k? The difference is simply, when are you taxed? Let's just start with a really simple example. Let's say that there is a 10% tax that will never change. It's always going to be 10%. And let's say that you have $1,000 and you have to make the choice. Do I do regular IRA or 401k, or do I do Roth? Which one should I do? Let's just look at the math, right? That's a great place to start. Let's assume you're going to do a regular 401k. You're going to put $1,000 in a regular 401k, and you're not going to pay taxes today, because regular 401ks are pre-tax. We say, hey man, I'm not paying tax now, I'll pay it in the future, right? So let's take that $1,000 and let's move forward in time to when we were retired. And let's say it's grown 10x. So now it's worth $10,000. So $10,000 is there, and we say, you know what? I need all of that money right now. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and pay myself $10,000. And the moment I take it out of that account, I'm going to pay 10% in tax. So I'm going to pay $1,000 in tax, and I'm going to have $9,000 left. Does that make sense? Okay, good. So now let's just go back in time, and let's do it all over again. But let's do it as a Roth instead. So with the Roth, I'm going to say, hey, I'm going to pay taxes today so I don't have to pay them in the future. I'm going to have my $1,000. I'm going to put it in after I paid my tax on the $1,000. So I'm going to pay $100 in taxes, and I'm going to invest $900. Okay, now let's go back to the future. In the future, we 10x'd our money again. So now we have a Roth that's worth $9,000, and we can take that money out and do anything we want with it. So we have $9,000 again. Now, what'd you see happen there? Because the tax rate didn't change, the choice between pre-tax, regular 401k or IRA, and Roth being post-tax doesn't matter. You get the same answer if the tax rate doesn't change. So what's happening with the choice between, do we do a regular IRA or a Roth IRA, is really asking the question, what's going to happen to my tax rate now and in the future? So if you're in a lower tax rate now, it usually makes sense to pay the tax today. If you're in the highest tax brackets now, it usually makes sense to do as much pre-tax savings as we can, with the idea that in the future, we won't be making as much income, or we can control how we take our money out in the future. So we want to have more pre-tax. So what you'll see is common recommendations amongst planning professionals. You'll see them saying things like, hey, you're in a low income year. This is a great year for you to contribute to Roths. Or, hey, you're in really, really high income years. We should be doing as much as we can in pre-tax. So that's like 401k contributions and health savings account contributions, things like that. And then if you're in those in-between zones, that's where you get to make a choice. And the choice is reflective on, I don't know necessarily what the rate's going to be in the future, so I'm going to make a guess. And you might choose to split the difference. You might choose to weight more to pre-tax or more to Roth. The choice is yours, and it depends. And that's usually where the guidance of a professional can be helpful. So that really is the key between, do I do a Roth or do I do a regular IRA? It really comes down to what you think tax rates are going to be in the future relative to what your current rate is today. And just to be clear, when I say what your current rate is today, you can get confused on this. And the reason it's confusing is because we have what's called a progressive tax system. And what that means is everyone pays 10% in tax first until you fill up that bucket, and then you go down these different buckets until you get to the highest tax rate currently, which is 37% federally. And what we care about is your marginal tax rate. Marginal tax rate just means the last dollar that you earn this year. What bucket does it fall in, right? So if you're in those high 37% rate, pre-tax may make a lot of sense. If you're in that 10% rate, Roth gonna make a ton of sense. And then there's everything in between. I hope this was helpful for you. Have a great day.